Hello. I'm so used to recording Marco Polos, but I'm not used to talking for myself or for people I don't know. So this is a new exercise for me, and just becoming more comfortable in public speaking in a sense, and also just showing myself the same kindness that I showed other people. I don't know how to flip my camera, so I'll have to just physically move my camera to show the view, but there it is. We are at the Oregon Lakes. We went to the lower Oregon Lake, and now we're at the middle, and we tried to bushwalk to the upper and didn't find it, and chose to stop here so David could swim due to time. But I think one lesson I learned on this trail was it's okay to go, like, it's okay to have an adventure. It's okay to go along with, plans that are spontaneous, of course. It's like, we all need some spontaneous fun. But it was also okay to speak up. And so, like, at one point, we're bushwalking, walking over logs. And the hike in here, it's not long, but it is steep. And so I was just thinking, like, it would be super unfortunate to twist an ankle back here, walking over and under bushes or logs, and just following game trails and things of that sort. And so I ended up speaking up and just like, are we sure that this is the right way to the lake we're going to? And, David was just like, oh, actually, we're way off. No, it's not. I was like, okay, yeah, it seemed to me on the map like we followed the trail around the lake and then went up. So we came back to the lake, and then we found a trail that honestly could lead to the upper lake. Now, time-wise, we work tomorrow. It's better just to go back or just to hang out here and then go back. But I think it was a good lesson to say, like, hey, like, yes, it's okay. There's always a time to, like, for both. Like, there's a time to be spontaneous. There's a time to be supportive. There's a time to speak up. And just seeing, like, all those things are okay. And then when I was coming up here, it was hard for me. I was like, wow, this is a calf burner. But I'm so grateful I'm taking the cycling classes from Denise Graff, because, her motto is, you're stronger than you think. And, she follows a lot of positive talk. That's even inspired by Peloton, where it's like stronger together. And so I'm just watching this bug climb on David's clothing. But yeah, so I think coming up here, that was my mantra as I was hiking in. Just like, you're stronger than you think. You're stronger than you think. And there's some people that might blaze up that hill, and like it's nothing. Eat miles for breakfast, as Tunde said one time. Tunde from Peloton. But yeah, it's just like, okay, I don't eat miles for breakfast. This is hard for me, but I'm proud of myself for doing it. And I think something that was really helpful for me this week was listening to a podcast by Tunde, and it was a podcast on comparison, and she was interviewing Emma Lovewell, and they were just talking about, comparing yourself to yourself instead of comparing yourself to someone else when you get a snapshot of their journey. Please get off of me. I'm talking to a bug. Instead of comparing yourself to a snapshot of someone else's journey, comparing yourself to yourself, And so it's smoky out. It's not, like, we don't have the greatest air quality. I don't know what the air quality is right now, but it's not the best. It's definitely smoky. The smoke is settling in this little this area here around the lake. But last year around this time, man, I was struggling anytime I was hiking in smoke and just hating it. And this year I'm like, oh no, like I'm still enjoying the hike. But I do feel winded at times, you know, getting to the top of a climb. And it was really helpful to compare myself to myself in that moment and to see like, but you're better today than you were last year. And that's an improvement. And pre-COVID, maybe you would have been, you know, more fit and, you know, maybe you would have gotten up that hill easier. Who knows? But it's like, that's irrelevant for today. That's not going to help me in that present moment to compare, to downwardly compare myself. So one thing I'm trying to work on is not downwardly comparing and just realizing like, hey, let's give grace to ourselves. Let's recognize the wins when they come, because there's lots of wins, and let's enjoy the beauty. So that was the other thing I was trying to enjoy, you know, was enjoy the process. Like, this is a beautiful place. You know, yes, it's hard, but at least we're having a hard time in a really beautiful area. And even thinking like, at least it's like a shorter hike. So yeah, like, sure, it's tough, but it's gonna end soon. So those were wins for me and my positive thinking wins. So yeah, never a bad thing to hold on to. And then one thing that was funny, so last night we stayed at the Thompson Peak Lookout, and that was beautiful. Again, you know, smoky, but I thought, you know, it was like we really enjoyed the sunset. This morning I enjoyed parts of the sunrise. I was so tired. I thought about taking pictures, and I was like, I just can't do it because I'm exhausted. Oh man. So I didn't get up to take a picture, but I opened my eyes to take a look, and I enjoyed the view. Yeah, but anyway, so driving up there, David opened the gate, and then I drove from the gate to the base of the lookout, like the driveway of the lookout. And it was just funny to me because, you know, I'm like driving slowly over these rocks. There's like a steep drop off on the other side, on the passenger side. And so Dave was like, okay, take it easy. You know, you don't need to drive too fast. And I was like, oh, I'm literally driving 5 miles per hour. So I don't know how I could take it any easier, but I also am going uphill, so I need to press on the gas. And he was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I mean, I might have gone 8 miles per hour at one point, but it's like, I'm in that like 5 to 8 mile range right now. So, yeah, it was just funny, but yeah, I think even in that, it's just like, I don't know, just enjoying those funny moments, as they come up. So like, that's giving me some laughs, this weekend. And then on Saturday night, we backpacked to Heart Lake, which was really nice and made really good timing. Set up, got a beautiful place, stayed in a place I haven't stayed that David picked out. It was, you know, we opened our window up to like a beautiful view of the lake. It was really nice. Then we went for a hike up to Pearl Lake and Dalton Lake, and those are really pretty. But while we were up there, we were like, oh, let's go on this trail that's not as traveled. And we found huckleberries. So like on the main trails where there's been like, I'm sure, a ton of people, there were no huckleberries. And in the past, I've been able to eat huckleberries from those same popular trails. And so I was just like, okay, well, I mean, it is Labor Day weekend, so yeah, maybe they're all picked over in this area. But we found some. David even saved some, but we ate a lot. We ate a ton of them. So it was just like, I mean, that view in that area wasn't like the greatest, but they were really great huckleberries. So definitely worth the trip, worth the detour. So yeah, and I just feel so grateful that we left when we did, because driving the road that we had to drive to get to the lookout was pretty intense. And then even driving out here, we thought it like last night, we were thinking like, oh, should we drive to Oregon Lakes last night or yesterday? But we'd already done 10 miles, and so it's like, I mean, I feel like that's enough. That's David's opinion, and we went with that. And it was. And then we drove out here, and we're like, yeah, I'm really glad we didn't try to drive this last night. And then we didn't have to drive back in the dark on this road or the other road. So, yeah, wins in that sense too. Feeling grateful. But yeah, I think I'm just in this space where like I really want to choose gratitude. I really want to choose reflection on things that are going well and use that as a reminder, especially like when times are hard, that like, hey, you know, you'll have hard moments, just like hard hikes, but you'll get to a place where that intensity is going to end. You know, like maybe you'll get to the view top, the vista, the overlook, the lake, you know what I mean? Like the hard time will end. So yeah. What was the saying that you read in your quiet time today? The saying that you read in your quiet time today? The saying. That you texted Lauren.
Coram Dion.
Oh yeah. Coram Dio?
Coram Dio.
Coram Dio, yeah. And what does it mean?
The sight of God.
In the sight of God.
Or view of God.
Or in the view of God. So yeah. Coram Dio.